Wilson Alvarez sat right there a few minutes ago and said the greatest game he ever had was in 1993 pitching against the Toronto Blue Jays. You recall Wilson Alvarez pitching against you guys in the it would be the league championship series?
Yeah, it was a league. I told Wilson, said, I remember that. I said, I remember us getting through that game and appreciate y'all coming so we can work our way to the World Series.
You started off with the Yankees, and it's just they got traded off to the Cleveland Indians. Mm-hmm. And then found yourself with really the dominant time of the Toronto Blue Jays. You were there and had 3 first-place wins, as I recall. Yeah,
1991 we got to the playoffs. That's the year I was traded over there in that year with Tom Candiotti. Mm-hmm. I was young in my career. 92 and 93, of course, we won the back-to-back World Series. I spent a lot of time on the bench. And I think that those couple of years right there, there was an outfield with Joe Carter, Devon White. We had Ricky Henderson, Candy Maldonado. There was some great outfielders that come through there. And I called myself the Sunday player, because I was really, one day a week start. Someone got down. Start. I was that 4th, 5th outfielder type, but I learned so much, from Paul Molitor, Roberto Alomar, Joe Carter. I mean, those guys, the way they picked up signs from the other clubs, those little things, not counting just base running and hitting from John Olerud. I mean, there was just some great players on those teams.
So that really, do you get a sense that they really developed you? I mean, more than you could ever have in spring training, just more on the bench observation?
Well, I think you take something from everyone. If you're not taking something from everyone in this game, you're selling yourself short. I mean, Buck Showalter, my first year in this league, just coming out of college, I learned so much and stuff that was taking me through my career. Next year, A-ball, it's just more. Every year's got to be a learning experience. But when you start learning from guys who's played the game 8, 9, 10, 12, 14 years, there's no substitute for that. And that's what you try to bring from a coaching standpoint. You try to bring that knowledge that you've got, because I tell these guys, I haven't invented anything in the game. There's nothing that I've invented. I've learned it all from other people, and that's what you do. You just pass on that information and hope these kids take that information that you get and apply it to their game.
Everybody knows Turner Ward and that ESPN highlight film of when you blew through the wall. Walk me through that. Tell me about the play.
I don't think there's any other special than any other play that I ever tried to make. I tried to rob every hitter of every ball ever played. I really felt like every game that I was out there, my goal was to give it everything I got every game. And that just happened to be, I must have hit a spot in the wall that was weaker than the other. I like to say, too, that Mike Piazza, who hit that ball, knocked me through the wall with a bullet that he hit. But, that was my style of play. I really felt that, that pitcher was on the mound. I was giving everything he had. That was my job, to make every play that I could. I wanted to rob guys. That was my ultimate goal as an outfielder, was to rob somebody of a base hit or hold them from an extra base.
So when that happened, though, I mean, literally, you hit a wall and it gives way?
Well, I used to say, way back in A-ball, I'd run through a wall to catch a ball. So now I can say I literally did, And in that situation, it was a 1st and 3rd situation. So when I went through the wall, I made the catch. So I knew there was a guy on 3rd base. I knew he was going to score, and my thought process was not to let the guy on 1st score. So when I was coming out of the wall, I'm thinking, should I kick it? Should I throw it left-handed? Should I, so I just gave because I hurt my elbow on the play, and so I just kind of gave my best body throw with my right arm.
Right. Did the other outfielder give you any help at all, or is it you were just?
It happened so fast, and you see it in slow motion, and it looks like it takes 6, 7 seconds, but the whole play, probably took from the time it left the bat, 3 or 4 seconds. By the time I hit the wall, it was 2 seconds in, out, try to get the ball in as quick as I could.
Playing with the Blue Jays those 2 World Series years and 3.
Minnesota Twins beat us out in '91, who went on to the World Series, win the World Series in '91, and then of course, in '92 back to back. I mean, what a great experience. Joe Carter's walk-off homer, with Mitch Williams. The scores in that Philly series game was unbelievable. The rain delay. I think about Todd Stottlemyre pitching in that game and sliding into third base, bleeding chin. I mean, it was just we was playing a scrappy team. That team, man, our offense was just, and that whole series, you look back at the series, the hits, the run scores in that series, our offense that whole year, I think Jack Morris might have won 20 games with a 6+ earned run average. I mean, you couldn't drag him off the mound. He was going to stay out there. He was a battler. We had a whole team of just gamers. Our whole goal, when we came to spring training, it was all about winning the World Series. It wasn't getting to the World Series. It wasn't, I hope we get there. It was from the start, from the time we're winning the World Series. And man, what a great atmosphere to be in from the get. You know what? We're here to win. We're not here for 500. I've been on teams like that. We're not here for this. We're here to win a World Series, and man, that's what it's all about, winning. And that's what you try to teach these guys. You do the game, you play the game right. You do the little things that count, and that creates winning.
You had a very veteran team, but also a manager who was relatively new in the game, Cito Gaston at the time. How much of an impact was he as far as melding the veteran ball players? Wells, you had Winfield, you had. I mean, you had well, there's no doubt you had guys like Paul Molitor. These were leaders. These guys kept. Me and Cito didn't always see eye to eye, but you know what? He was up front with you, and that's all you could ask for a player. And you know what? He had a good coaching staff there with Gene Tennis. It was just Bob Baylor, and we just he had a good staff. Joe Carter hits the. I mean, that's another classic play. What's your feeling when that all goes?
When it went over the fence, it was just cha-ching, because we won the World Series. I'm a young player, and you know what? The World Series. You won the World Series, but man, you're young in your career, and you're thinking, man, we just won the World Series. Man, we're going to get a nice World Series bonus on this. So, yeah, you think about. Because it was totally unexpected. You got Mitch Williams in the game. He's nasty, and he threw it, down and into Joe Carter. You don't throw it hard down and into Joe Carter.
You played with just a myriad of players who some are in the Hall of Fame today. Are there 1 or 2 or 3 players you say, man, the best?
Paul Molitor. At 40 years old, playing with him, still probably one of the best base runners in baseball. The way, that whole year with us, he DH'd, and we go into Atlanta, into the World Series, and he's playing third base. Yeah. And he's playing it like an all-star. And I'm going, man, that's what you got to do to play late in your career. That's what I want to do. Until I was 40, and I had major surgeries in my career, and I got to about 38, and my body couldn't do it anymore. But, the guys like that, I loved watching Jason Kendall, a guy that just went at it hard. I love those guys. I believe that those kind of guys are winners, and that's what I like to be around. I like to be around winners.
This has been terrific. You bring life to the game. I can see the enthusiasm and the intensity, and thank you for taking the time.
All right, thanks, Greg.
With a 3-run home